Guys, Roberto Parker here with Innovative Sports Training. Time for another Health Detective Talk. Today I'm going to talk about a topic that kind of breaks my heart. It's called childhood obesity. Now, this has become an epidemic in our country. In fact, it's become almost a pandemic problem worldwide in a lot of industrialized countries. I'm going to give you a few facts and figures today related to childhood obesity, so please forgive me. It's going to be a lot of statistics today, but I need to give you the stats to really drive the point about why we have this situation occurring. I'm going to be using my notepad today too. I couldn't fit everything on the board. Part of the issue with childhood obesity is genetics, and if you listen to my topics before, you'll know that genetics is really a small part of the problem. There's a thing called epigenetics, which is more related to lifestyle. That's a greater issue. Now, if both your parents were 5'4", and you have a child that's 5'4", you're born 5'4", chances are you're not going to be 6 feet. So therefore, you've got an even greater risk of becoming obese because of your short stature. So genetics will play a factor. However, it is not the main factor. Lifestyle is the main factor. As I've talked about many of my issues before in my talks, it's called epigenetics. Of course, the type of food you're consuming, which relates to lifestyle, the type of community that you live in. Do you live in a community that is a big urban sprawl area where it's really not safe to go outside without fear of maybe your child being kidnapped or something? There's a lot of high crime and violence, so therefore they stay inside all the time. They come home from school, they stay inside, watch TV, play video games, get on electronic devices. Or do you live in a community where there's a safe area? You can go out with your kids to the park, go for hikes, that sort of thing. So that's a factor too. Another one is family support. You've got to get involved as a family, which I'll talk about here later on the topic. You've got to get involved as a family to help each other out, because oftentimes parents are overweight as well. Typically obese kids have overweight parents. Sleep is a huge factor. Now, this is one that I get into with a lot of kids, and even my own kids at times in past years. They like staying up late when they get to be a certain age. You've got to encourage them to get a good night's sleep, because when you sleep at night, that's when your body regenerates and repairs itself. In between 10 and 2 o'clock in the morning, your body is dumping toxins via the liver. And also your body's making growth hormones. Growth hormones is what you're going to put on muscle and lean tissue. And also their brains. With kids, because they're growing, their brains are also growing and regenerating. So it's important they get a good night's sleep. Okay, now 1/3 of kids in this country today are fat and or obese. And according to the CDC, by 2030, about 50% of kids in this country will be obese or fat. And that's only 12 years away. About 20 years ago, this number, which is 1/3, was about 1 out of 8. 1 out of 8 kids, even just 20 to 30 years ago, were fat. Now, what's been a factor involving that? A reduction in PE classes. Now, I'm going to hit this real big here in a second. Reduction in PE classes and reduction in recess time, particularly with elementary schools, has led to many disorders. In fact, there's a thing called ADHD. You've probably heard of it. Now, some of that's related to having intestinal issues with your gut, but with ADHD, you need to be active. And ADHD is more prevalent among boys than girls. You've got to get them active. Sitting inside a classroom all day long in a chair, and which is not good for their posture, by the way, looking at a grease board and listening to a teacher go over boring topics in school just drives some kids crazy. That is why they have an issue with it, with ADHD. That's kind of off the topic here. But you got to get those kids up and moving. This has led to a term called exercise deficit disorder, EDD. Now this was coined, I believe, by Dr. Avery Feigenbaum, whom I had the great privilege to listen to actually just a few days ago in a live seminar, which prompted me to do this topic. because Dr. Feigenbaum has done tons and tons of research on childhood obesity and clinical studies and research himself with childhood obesity. In fact, he works with kids every day of the week in terms of training them and doing clinical research on them. Okay, now, the crucial ages that you want to attack this is ages 5 to 11. You've got to get those kids active between ages 5 and 11. After 11 years of age, the probability of them coming out well in terms of their lifestyle is harder to do, because now they're starting to establish more of an ingrained or more of a crucial stability in terms of how they live their life. So they're starting to become more etched into whatever they do, habits, whether it be good habits or bad habits. So you've got to get in between ages 5 and 11. Now, the USA ranks 47 out of 50 in terms of qualitative, this is countries by the way, 47 out of 50 industrialized countries. And the USA ranks 47th out of 50 in terms of qualitative recess and PE time. And I'm going to give you a few statistics here. Okay, now, out of the PE classes in this country today, 39 states do not abide by or adhere to the mandatory requirement of 150 hours of physical education per week. Now you might be saying, why is that? That is because they waive it, they just ignore it, because they're not being challenged by parents. Because many schools have budgetary constraints, and so they put PE on the back burner, feeling that math and reading and everything else is more important. Now, I'm not saying those are not important topics, but PE, in my opinion, is just as important. So what they've done, they've cut back PE, and they've put more emphasis into, let's say, putting a computer lab in or something. So they've cut back a lot of PE classes in schools around the country. 39 states do not adhere to the requirement of PE. And there's only 6 states in this country, 6 states only, 6, that adhere to the mandatory recess law that we have in terms of giving kids recess time. And recess is just where they go outside and play around and play on the swings, play on the monkey bars and that kind of thing. Only 6 states adhere to that. And out of those 6 states, it's only about 20 minutes just a couple times a week. No wonder kids are getting fat. I cannot tell you how many kids I have trained in the past 20 years. And every year I see it getting worse. They come to me and they're overweight. And most of the kids that come to me, they want to go off for some sort of a sport like softball or baseball or football or basketball, and they can't even do a push-up. They can't even hold their own body weight up. And they're very uncoordinated. Getting back to what Dr. Fagenbaum coined, they suffer from exercise deficit disorder. He also terms it as physical illiteracy. They can't coordinate their body parts. They can't skip, they can't run, they can't bend, they can't twist, they can't jump. I'm talking about kids that are in 4th and 5th and 6th grade sometimes. And by that age, they should be able to do those things. Those are just basic gross motor skills that I learned. I remember when I was in PE, and I'm an old guy, but I learned that stuff by the time I was in 4th grade. Now, what are the solutions to this issue? Parents, you have to get involved with the school districts. You have to challenge them. Now, my kids are all grown, but you have to get involved with the school districts and you have to challenge them. And if the school districts are hard-headed about it, you got to take up the brunt yourself and do some stuff with your kids. Take them out for a hike. After school, go for a walk, go for a bike ride, do something with them. And you really should do a minimum, I don't have this on the board, 60 minutes a day. Now the NFL has done a pretty cool thing called Just Play, I believe it. Just Play 60, I believe it's called. 60 minutes a day. It doesn't have to be structured exercise. Just go outside and ride your bike or whatever. Now, I know what you're thinking, parents. Times have changed. When I was a kid, I mean, you came home from school and we get on the bikes and we're gone for 2 hours sometimes. On the weekends, maybe all day long. We go to the park, go play basketball, go play football, go swimming or whatever. times have changed, and I know parents are concerned about their kids getting snatched and getting kidnapped, or having something, heaven forbid, harmful happen to them. But you have to just monitor more, parents, today. Be with them. And parents, you need the activity yourself, because a lot of parents are overweight. So do some more family activities with your kids. Good food, of course. Good whole foods. Get off the processed crap. Now, I can talk a lot about different types of keto and paleo. That's not the purpose of this talk today. The purpose is just get good, quality, whole foods. No soda pops, no sports drinks, no energy drinks, none of that crap. Okay? Peanut butter and jelly sandwiches are better than drinking Mountain Dew. That's better. And I don't really rank peanut butter and jelly sandwiches at the top of the list, but it's a hell of a lot better than drinking Mountain Dew and Rockstar for energy. Adventure activities with your kids. Go out for a hike. Man, I remember when I was a kid, we used to go through the woods and play Danny Boone and Davy Crockett. We had fun doing it. Sometimes we get poison ivy doing it. But do some adventure stuff with your kids. Family activities, I talked about that. Be supportive of your kids. Strength training. There's a misnomer involving strength training for kids. It used to be thought that if kids did strength training, weightlifting, that it would destroy their growth plates. That's not necessarily true. Kids in the old days, and maybe they still do it, I kind of doubt it, worked on the farm. What they do? They'd pick up pails of milk or rocks or dirt and help their dad on the farm. And what's that? That's strength training. You know, maybe they have to milk the cow or slop the hogs. That's strength training, guys. That's strength training. Did it adhere to their growth? No, it didn't. Now, don't be stupid with it. I'm not going to have a fifth grader try to max out on bench press or squats. That's ridiculous. I wouldn't even have the average person do that if they weren't accustomed to it. Kids are not miniature adults necessarily. I don't believe in training kids the exact same way that you train adults. But kids can do body weight exercises. In fact, I'm going to put a video on this link here with you guys on this page. You go back to the 1950s. In PE classes, what do they consist of? Climbing ropes, pegboard, calisthenics, body weight exercises, okay, jumping over walls, obstacle courses. Those kids worked in PE back in the day. And you had less fat kids. We had less of a fat society. Today, you go to PE class, and I've seen a few of them. What are kids doing? Leaning against the wall and they're texting on their phones, doing PE class. That's not PE. I don't know what you call it, but it's not PE. I'll get off my soapbox. So strength training is good. Put down the devices. I just kind of mentioned that. When you go out with your kids on a nice little run or adventure or whatever, leave the cell phones in the car if you can, or leave them at home just for an hour, guys. Okay? We lived in this country for 10,000 years. 10,000 years ago, we didn't have phones. We didn't have electronic devices. We lived in the Ice Age. And human beings survived. And we have survived since then. We can live without the dang phone for 60 minutes. Now, that's just my opinion. Now, this is one that I'm really big on. And this is what I try to do, not just with kids, but with everybody that I work with. The purpose of physical education is to physically educate. I'll get out of the way of the board here. Physically educate. And there's three types of learners, in my opinion. You have visual learners, you have tactile learners, you have auditory learners. A visual learner can sit and just look at a board or read a book and they can learn easily or simply. A tactile learner is someone who needs to be physically engaged. I myself am more of a tactile learner, not tactical, but tactile learner. I like to be physically engaged. And then you have auditory learners who need to hear it. And some people are a combination of the three. They might be 2 out of 3, they might be 3 out of 3. But they might have 3 out of 3, but maybe they're more of an auditory, or maybe they're more of a visual, or they're more of a tactile. But you got to find out what way your child learns best. And I'll say this, most young boys are tactile learners, whereas most young girls are more visual learners. That is why in schools oftentimes boys are really antsy. as opposed to little girls. Now, I'm going to give you some other statistics here. What country ranks usually in the top 3 or 4 in the world in terms of math and science scores? It's Finland. And I got news for you. In Finland, they also rank as one of the top 3 countries in terms of physical education and recess. And here's what they do over in Finland. Every 45 minutes to an hour in their classes, they give the kids physical activity breaks. Now, I don't know exactly how long those breaks are. They might be 10 minutes. They might be only 5 minutes. I don't know. But they get the kids up and moving around. You think there might be any correlation here. Now, if you're a parent out there, or if you're a school administrator, if you're a teacher, take this to your school board. Look up these statistics yourself. I'll put the link on my page here. Finland ranks in the top 3 in the world in terms of math, science scores, and physical education. And their obesity rates are lower than ours. Could be a coincidence? I doubt it. Guys, this is a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Parents, I hope you really adhere to this message that I just talked about today. Forgive me if I was preaching to you, but I'm very passionate about this. I hate to see fat little kids. And one thing I forgot to mention, I don't have it up here. PE at a very young age, physical education, not just for schools, but also with what you do at your house, with your family, is more important than sports. And I'm a huge sports fan. I played college sports. I've worked with high-level athletes. If you want your little kids to grow up to be good athletes, start them out with these things right here. Because you know what? If you suffer from EDD, what kind of an athlete are you going to be later on in life? And you got to get them between ages 5 and 11. Those are the crucial formative years. Don't be concerned about how high they can jump, if they can throw a football 100 yards, if they can shoot a free throw. Okay? Be more concerned about their physical output. Be more concerned about their physical health. Be more concerned about, can they move? Can they skip? Can they jump? Can they run effectively without tripping and falling all the time? Be more concerned about that, because those are the foundational movements of becoming a good athlete. If I had a choice between good physical education skills for a little one under the age of 12 versus going out for the football team or the baseball team, I'm going to help them develop good physical recreational skills. Plus, it's going to help them in school. Guys, this has been Roberto Park with another Health Detective series. If you need information on anything regarding testing for hormones, physical fitness assessments, biomechanical assessments, nutritional assessments, one-on-one consultation, one-on-one meaning physical sessions, or just sitting down going over lifestyle assessments, please contact me. My number is 816-405-7703. My email is rwpsports@yahoo.com. Guys, thank you for listening. Take care and God bless. Bye-bye.